off to the north and west. Reds are going away from the radar, greens are going towards the radar, and it's this couplet right here that we're tracking for that rotation and for the potential of a tornado. There you go, right here. Thank you, Scott, for circling that. This is that area that we're watching for, and if we can get a timetable on this, again, moving very quickly off to the north and west at around 55 miles per hour. So we're going to be watching this one just racing
let me
well
get that
off.
again. That actually does take it out of the warning polygon pretty quickly.
Yeah, so
a little zoomed in too much. That would take it
go.
eventually toward Ludwig and
Yes.
Long County. Definitely get to your safe place right now.
Absolutely.
So that tornado warning is in place until 9:15. Brian, just real quickly, moments ago, I want to check out another storm that we were watching just moments ago.
There we go.
Up into Evans County, Tattnall County,
Right into
and
Claxton.
into Candler County. We do have a new tornado warning that has just been issued. Also includes portions of Bullock County near, just to the south of Register near New Hope. This tornado warning is in place until 9:30. Moving again pretty quickly, just as the other two cells that we have been watching, moving very quickly to the northwest at 35 miles per hour, so not quite as fast as that other storm. We'll get a timetable on that going to the Viper radar with this relative velocity here. We'll take a look at that. It's located pretty much near Claxton right now. Very tight rotation right now on the velocity product here. We'll set in this to the northwest at 35 miles per hour, and there we go. Takes it into Ada Bell by 9:05. Pulaski by 9:17, Parrish by 9:18. So moving very quickly to the northwest. So we are going to begin to see more of these cells rolling through the area as Hurricane Helene gets closer to us. It's not going to take much for us to get a small amount of rotation in these storms, and that small amount of rotation will quickly be able to produce some tornadoes. Some of them may develop just as quickly as we've been dealing with, and they may dissipate just as quickly as they develop across parts of the area. So we are definitely watching for that multiple tornado warnings. Also, just to our west, this does include the extreme western edge of Montgomery County on Viper radar. It is included in a tornado warning till 9:15. That cell is likely moving to the northwest at around the same clip as the other ones, northwest around 35 to 40 miles per hour. This one is not quite well as defined on that radar site. Going to switch the site here. There it is, just outside of our area. So it looks like Montgomery County, just the very edge, would be at risk of this moving into your area. So with that trajectory, here's that likely rotation here near Lumber City and moving to the northwest at that same type of clip, taking us toward Alamo. So just to the west of Mount Vernon, there's what we were talking about, moving toward Jordan by 8:56, Stuckey 9:11, Alamo at 9:11 as well. So that tornado warning is in place until 9:15. That includes the extreme western edge of Montgomery County. So Mount Vernon, you want to get to your safe place, be ready to take action, because that could clip depending on how quickly this is able to move to the northwest, and if it does hold that same trajectory. Sometimes the Weather Service, as far as drawing these warning polygons, they err on the side of caution. So even on the edges, you are at risk of having those tornadic winds. And even if in this type of setup, with Helene getting closer to us, we will continue to have more of these cells coming on shore. We will continue to have those winds picking up for us across the area. So even without the tornadoes developing, we will begin to see our wind gusts picking up rapidly across the area. We've had some gusts approaching 30 miles per hour for us at times across the area. And going to tune it into Bryan, Michigan, again with another update. Bryan, what do we have going on with the Chatham County situation?
Yeah, as of right now, we're still watching for those areas of rotation to come on shore. However, just off to the south of the warning area for the Chatham County warning, we are seeing a cell, if you can actually move just a little bit further to the south of that, actually, and we'll be able to see, if you could turn on the velocity signature and switch over to the Charleston radar, there's an area that's coming on shore here. Yeah,
yes,
right there, there's a stronger area of rotation there. That will also be moving quickly off to the north and west, getting into Half Moon Landing at around 9:05, Buckhead at around, let's see, 9:07, Fancy Hall at around 9:07 as well, Sunbury 9:09. Again, this is all moving off to the north and west. This is a particularly stronger area of rotation that we're tracking, a little bit stronger, it looks like, than the ones that are just off to the north. However, you're still going to want to take these very seriously if you're out on some of the island locations, getting into Chatham County and then into us here in Savannah. Going to want to really find that safe place. Again, lowest level of your home, the most interior level of your home as well, and away from those windows. For many places, that could be an interior bathroom or closet, or if you have a basement, certainly a good idea to head down in there, as we do have, again, a tornado warning in place. If you could just click on it, we could see when that expires really fast. Here we go, 9:15 p.m. So we're going to have to take this seriously over the next 20 to 30 minutes or so as this strong complex of storms moves its way in. Even if there's not a tornado on the ground, these are all radar indicated. You're going to want to take these very seriously. These outer rain bands of Hurricane Helene, they are packing a punch. They are dumping heavy, heavy rainfall out there, and we have the winds picking up as well. That will continue to be the case over the next few hours as Helene gets closer. Let's go back off to the south near Darien and McIntosh County. This cell that's moving very quickly off to the north and west at around 55 miles per hour. This one moving much quicker than some of the other cells.
Real quickly, Brian,
yes,
the cell that we were just talking about.
Oh, there we go. There's the
there
warning.
it is. We have a new tornado warning
Yes.
now that includes Bryan County and portions of southern Chatham County, and this also includes Liberty County.
And
this
it's
is actually
confirmed.
confirmed for us right now. Let's try to get the particulars on that one, but this one would be moving on shore pretty quickly, just like the other cells just off of the coast. This rotation looking a little bit more pronounced for us right now. Let's time that out as far as this moving forward. The forward speed right now at 35 miles per hour.
Those in Richmond Hill certainly start to get into your safe place. If you're in Belfast, to absolutely take those precautions now, even if you're in Sunbury. Again, this is a confirmed tornado out there that we're seeing. So it's, again, moving off to the north and west rather quickly, getting into Buckhead around 9:08 p.m., Fancy Hall 9:10, Keller 9:17, Belfast 9:18, Fort McAllister at around 9:20, and Myrtle Grove 9:21. There's that area of rotation, very well defined here. Likely a waterspout that's starting to come on shore now, and this will continue to move off to the north and west. So again, we do have multiple tornado warnings across the area. These are very typical with these landfalling tropical systems, those outer rain bands. What essentially happens is you have that storm that's moving in one direction, and the circulation around it, you kind of get that change in wind directions as that storm system progresses. You get that rotation, and that's why we're seeing so many of these tornado warnings at the moment. If we could do another timetable on this, I just want to make sure that everybody sees this. Especially if you're off to the east of I-95 at the moment, this will be racing off pretty quickly into your area.
Yeah,
but
moving around 35 miles per hour.
35, yeah.
Do the timetable, assuming that it's moving a little bit faster
a little bit
at
quicker,
this point,
for sure.
because a lot of the other cells have been moving faster than 35 miles per hour, and this does give you a little bit of extra lead time with that. So as far as the timetables, I would take it right into Fort McAllister at 9:16, Coffee Bluff at 9:19. So definitely get into your safe place right now. That's the lowest level of your home, away from windows and doors. We talk about this all the time, but this is one of the situations where you need to take action right now. This water spout was confirmed as it being an actual water spout with this rotation coming on shore. So it is likely going to transition into a tornado moving through Bryan County. And this warning does include portions of Chatham County. Definitely don't want to forget that part of this warning. And that warning is in place until 9:45. So this one will take a little bit of time, and it is a very well-defined circulation on Viper radar. And just got another indication that a warning was just issued again. This does continue into into Effingham County from what I'm seeing here. Oh, I'm sorry. That's a tornado watch update. The tornado watch that we have been falling today, it continues until 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. So it looks like we are going to be dealing with this rough weather for another 12 hours essentially across the area. So overnight, the winds are really going to be picking up. And as far as the tornadic conditions, as long as Helene's circulation is in the region, we are going to be dealing with that possibility of tornadoes. And just to show you the scope of what we are dealing with, Helene is, it's going to be making landfall within the next couple of hours on the Florida coast, likely near Perry, Florida. That would be the I believe it's the Taylor County area, and that's what we were watching, this circulation. As long as this is moving onshore of Florida and we have the onshore flow for us as far as that south-southeasterly flow into our region, we are going to have the threat of tornadoes, and we are really seeing this feeder band pick up intensity just off of the coast of, say, Brunswick. That extends well out to sea, actually a couple of 100 miles out to sea. That's what we are watching moving in for us this evening. This is one of those first rounds that we will be dealing with that will have that potential to be tornadic. But right now we do have multiple active tornado warnings for our area. Just to give another update, the one for Bryan County, portions of Liberty County, that's in place until 9:45. This one is a confirmed tornado warning. That's why it looks different on your map. The purple boxes in Viper radar indicate that it is a confirmed tornado. It's more than a typical Doppler radar indicated tornado. When we get a confirmed one, that means that this rotation is touching the ground and is turning into a tornado for us. So that's what we are dealing with right now, moving on to Bryan County. It is still in the marshy area, just coming onto the coast, but it is moving pretty quickly to the north-northwest at around 35 to 45 miles per hour. So this does take it into the area of Richmond Hill. So that's only 20 miles away. So that means within the next just a little while, next 20 minutes or so, 45 minutes, that will be getting a little bit closer for us. And we do have a camera down in Bryan County that is in the path of this, in our traffic camera. It looks like things are moving pretty smoothly right now along US 17 at mile marker 87 in Bryan County. So that's where this is all headed towards. So things are looking okay right now, but it's not a good idea to be out there on the roadways as far as, especially now that weather conditions are deteriorating. Not too many people out there on the roadways, but some of that rain is starting to pick up across the area. And this is one of those situations that even without these tornado warnings, the tornadic storms developing, we will have gusty winds in some of these situations with these showers and storms rolling through a straight line wind type of environment. So I do want to go back to the Chatham County tornado warning, see how things are going here. Brian, has there been an update on that cell?
I am not seeing an update as of yet.
Okay.
The warning is still in effect. At the moment, they did not give an update as to the current status of it, if they're going to be expiring it at all. But again, we're going to want to take this one very seriously. Again, we have that confirmed tornado off to the south, but still some areas of rotation coming onshore here. It looks like getting still into some of the marshy terrain here, but we'll be approaching that Wilmington Island area. It looks like it's just off to the south of that, but it will be getting into the heart of Savannah, really, as we go throughout the next 20 or 30 minutes or so. Again, it's moving off to the north and west rather quickly, around 35 to 45 miles per hour. If we can get another timetable on this one, that would be perfect, so we can get people the lead time that they need to get into that safe place. Again, getting into the most interior level of your home on the lowest floor, getting into Wilmington at 9:04, Isle of Hope 9:07, Parkersburg 9:07 as well, Wormslow 9:07, Baker's Crossing at around 9:08, Turner's Rock 9:08. So again, make sure you get into that safe place that you might have. We're going to zoom things out now. I want to go back down to that near McIntosh County, the one that was moving pretty quickly towards Ludowici, just to give people an update on that one. You can see they kind of just adjusted the box here. It looks like we still see a little bit of rotation here, moving very quickly off to the north and west. It looks like it'll be approaching the Ludowici area, parts of Long County any moment now. So certainly get into that safe place as you're
and there's no update. No update on that one right now,
Yes.
but that circulation does look pretty broad down into that corner down by McIntosh County and into Liberty County. Very broad rotation.
Yes.
There still will be some gusty wind with that, but possibly transitioning more from a tornadic type of situation more into a wind situation, which you're in a situation with a tropical system coming on shore, a very powerful major Category 4 system coming on shore. It does not take much for you to have straight line winds and everything that comes along with that, power outages and trees coming down, especially now that we are dealing with some heavy rain for parts of our area. We will have a little bit of that saturation setting up, but we still don't expect this to be a Debbie situation as far as the flooding. Real quickly, we talked about the Chatham County, the Bryan County storms. We do need to head back further inland. This is into Candler County, where we do have a tornado warning. That's in place until 9:30, so actually another half an hour, but it looks like this one, it's going to be moving out of that warned area, but this is a pretty pronounced circulation here. This is to the southwest of Metter. This is to the west of Edabel. And we do have a new tornado warning that's in place now for Long County. So the cell that just came through on the alerts here. So we'll get back to that one in just a moment. So this one, moving into Candler County, the circulation, this one is going to be moving toward Metter. So Metter, you need to get to your safe place right now, because this is a pronounced circulation moving in your direction. This was moving at that same type of trajectory, around 35 miles per hour. So this does take it toward Metter, just about at 9:16. So that is just a couple minutes away. That's about just about 10 minutes away. You need to be in that safe place right now, away from windows and doors and at the lowest level of your home. If you're in these situations in these areas, you can watch us on the WSAV news app. You can download that real quickly, and if you lose power, you'd still be able to stream us, of course, on WSAV.com. We'll be streaming all the information all night long, and that's a good tool to have. And also, if you do lose power, you will still be able to receive severe weather alerts through our WSAV Now weather app. That's a great tool for you to have, and perhaps download it right now. If you are in an area that's outside of these warnings, definitely get that so you can stay safe tonight, because the worst of the storm is going to be moving in as we do head into the overnight hours. The time now is just 9 o'clock. The winds will really start to pick up as we head toward 11 o'clock at midnight and beyond that during the overnight hours, when many people are trying to sleep. But with these strong winds rolling through the area, it's going to be hard for that to happen, because we do have an increased risk of some of us, especially further inland, having sustained high-end tropical storm force winds and even hurricane force winds. Jeff Davis County is included in the hurricane warning for tonight, so that does make that likelihood of having those straight line damaging winds more likely. That will cause some major issues. So that's the situation that's unfolding. So into Candler County, get to that safe place right now. Metter, Pulaski, all points in between. That's along Interstate 16. This is going to be headed toward Interstate 16 within the next couple of minutes. So within about 10 minutes or so, this will be crossing over Metter and does have that potential to produce some heavy damage. And we've had tornadoes producing damage earlier today. Going to back up our radar and head back down to the south, where we do have that pronounced circulation in Long County. This one would include Ludowici, just south of US 25, headed toward 84. And Brian, you have an update on some of this information with the Long County situation.
Yes, so at 9:03 p.m., a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located 5 miles west of Tibbet, moving northwest at 50 miles per hour. So this one is still moving very quickly in parts of Long County, headed towards Ludowici. So if you are in Ludowici, make sure you're getting into that safe place. These rain bands do have a history of producing brief spin-ups that we're seeing. This one's radar indicated at the moment, but you can see just off to the north, there's a confirmed tornado there. So let's take all of these very seriously. If you're in Ludowici, getting into your area at around 9:18, Doctortown 9:19, Donald around 9:34. Again, this one in particular moving very, very quickly off to the north and west. Conditions really going downhill with all the rain and the wind that's starting to pick up. So not a great time to go out there and try to spot this storm. Certainly a good idea to be proactive, get you and your family safe, get them indoors and into that safe place. We're hearing the rain coming down pretty heavy now here in Savannah. If we could just take a look at the reflectivity, we can really get a good idea as to what's coming down in terms of that rain at the...
Okay.
And again, there's that confirmed tornado warning. This area of rotation that's moving off to the north and west near Richmond Hill, right along 17 here. Georgetown, you're included in really just both of these warnings at the moment. Fort McAllister, it'll be getting into your area very shortly. It looks like maybe just off to the south, so that's some good news there, but it will be making its way towards I-95 over the next 20 to 30 minutes or so. It looks like it's just off to the east of Belfast at the moment, getting towards Oak Level. If you are in any of these areas, get into that most interior room on the lowest level of your home. This is a confirmed tornado that we currently have at the moment. There's that little bit of rotation as well, getting, it looks like, moving just off to the west of Wilmington and Whitmarsh Islands. It's going to be continuing to move off to the north and west into Savannah here. You can see maybe tightening up just a little bit. Scott, do you have any updates?
Yes. Speaking of that, the tornado warnings that we are watching for Chatham County, actually that rotation is looking a little bit pronounced as well. So the tornado warning for Chatham County is until 9:15 with that heavy rain coming in. Want to send it out to WSAV reporter Christine Quayle. She's live down on 64th Street, I believe, with the Savannah fire, with what she's seeing in downtown. Do we have Christine? Okay, I'm told that we are not ready with her. Okay, they're having some technical difficulties there. Sometimes in this rough weather, it is hard to get those signals back to the station. But downtown Savannah is included in that tornado warning, and it is heading in that direction. Okay, I'm told we do have Christine now live with Savannah Fire on 64th Street. Christine, what are you seeing?
Yeah, so we're in Chatham County right now. We're in Savannah on East 63rd Street. The rain is pretty steadily pouring down. It all kind of just started happening at once. We heard those tornado sirens going off just a couple of minutes ago. On and off they've been for the past 10, 15 minutes. So we are under a tornado warning here. We just got the alert. Like I said, rain coming down, pretty torrential. Pretty heavy at this moment right now. We're not hearing those sirens right now, but we're at a local fire station, and from what I can see, it's just rain coming down all the way. So definitely going to continue to keep you guys updated as we learn more information. Rain's coming down a little bit heavier right now. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
Stay safe. You're in a great location with the fire station there, sturdy structure, and that's what you need to be in tonight, a sturdy structure, because not only are we going to be dealing with numerous tornado warnings across the region, but we are going to be looking at a lot of wind beginning to pick up, steady, straight line wind picking up. I'm told that we also do have a traffic camera out on Chatham Parkway and I-16 from our 511. You can see that heavy rain coming down, many people out there on the roadways. That's not a great idea. You need to be staying off the roadways for tonight because that heavy rain is going to be picking up even more so over the next few hours. And then you add on nighttime nocturnal tornadoes with that. It is especially dangerous to be out and about for tonight. And the wind speeds are only going to be picking up. We've had wind gusts in excess of 35 miles per hour for a few spots, especially toward the coast. And we are going to be seeing more of that as you look ahead with the tornado warnings being issued. So we are tracking multiple tornado warnings across the region. If you are just joining us, one of them is actually a confirmed tornado that we've been talking about, or confirmed tornado warning as far as what was moving, just coming in off of the coast. Going to put the relative velocity on here for Bryan County. That's where we've been seeing the bulk of that circulation there, and we have another alert here, as you can tell, coming in. This is a new one. This is reissuing of that tornado warning for Chatham County. That's until 9:45. You can see the smaller box on this that is a little bit more confined into the south side of Savannah, including downtown, but also moving up into Garden City and Port Wentworth. So definitely need to get to your safe place right now. As far as that reissuing of that, it is located over Thunderbolt as far as that greatest circulation with this system. It is still moving to the north-northwest pretty quickly at 45 miles per hour. So that does not give you much lead time for what we are dealing with here. So that will take it over Savannah very quickly. Here's where we're seeing that tightest rotation here on our velocity product down to the south. The Weather Service is saying Thunderbolt, but it looks like it's more down on the southern end of Skidaway Island near Fernwood. That would take it crossing over B Road and actually very close to our location here in the Live Oats section at WSAV. We're located right on Victory Drive, so that circulation is just outside of our neighborhood. So this moving to the northwest at 45 miles per hour does take that right over downtown Savannah and at Garden City toward Port Wentworth. Let me get a better timetable on there because it is moving so fast. I need to zoom out in order to get the proper speed indication here. So we're going to time this out to around 45 miles per hour, and there we go. Heading into Isle of Armstrong at 9:14, Kensington Park 9:14. Just an update: Stanley Heights 9:15, Liberty City 9:17, Tremont Park by 9:17. So that's within the next 10 minutes or so. And of course, you extend that beyond that for places like Garden City, Port Wentworth, and up the road, and portions Pooler. That does take it there within the next, say, 20 minutes or so. So get to that safe location immediately. Stay there until this is able to expire, because you will not be able to see this with the wind picking up quickly. We have the rain wrap situation, so you will not be able to see the situation at all with this. Winds will pick up very quickly, and that could be very dangerous, deadly if it is indeed picking up a tornado on the ground. The tornado warning further to the south, Bryan, Michigan, it's still was a confirmed tornado warning, but it looks like that circulation has broadened out a little bit for Bryan County and into Richmond Hill, which is pretty common for these situations where you have a circulation coming in off of the ocean and heading over the marsh. It might stay strong for a little bit, but then it gets a little bit disrupted by what we are dealing with as far as it moving on to land. What are you seeing right now?
Yeah, as of right now, I'm seeing exactly what you're seeing. It's certainly weakening. That's some, good signs. Still have that tornado warning issues, so just be aware of that. If you're in Richmond Hill, still certainly want to take those precautions. However, it does look like, from what we're seeing here, it is starting to lose a little bit of its strength. Now that it is over land, oftentimes it maintains that strength as a water spout, and then quickly when it gets over the island locations there, it still holds a little bit of that strength, but then it'll eventually start to weaken. As of right now, not seeing any updates from the National Weather Service as to if they're going to continue this warning or if they are going to expire it. So we're just going to have to continue to sit tight out here at the moment. If we could, let's zoom in to that one there. We'll get a closer look. This one's still been going on for a little while too, near Metter. Still a little bit of rotation. It's certainly a lot more broad than it was just a little bit ago. So the situation looks to be improving there. Yeah, you can see it was really intense just off to the south and east of Metter. But it looks like as it's approaching the area, it is starting to lose a little bit of that intensity. Still want to stay in that safe place, of course, because even if there is no tornado on the ground, likely the winds are going to really start to ramp up as these cells move their way through. So that's certainly nothing you want to mess with. We also have very heavy rain coming down as well. You can even see they're adjusting the box here. I suspect that this one will likely be expired pretty soon, as it is really losing that intensity as we go back off to the northwest. It's right near the Metter area at the moment, so if you're there, sit tight and wait for this cell to pass on by before getting out of that safe place. Stay there really until this warning does expire. Let's go back now. We will see all these other warnings that we have, especially that confirmed one near Richmond Hill and also the one in near Savannah at the moment as well. This one moving pretty quickly. It was located near Thunderbolt, moving off to the northwest at around 45 miles per hour. So that'll be taking it into really downtown Savannah over the next couple of minutes or so. So make sure you are in that safe place. You're seeing some pretty broad rotation now. It's not as intense as it was just moments ago. You can see going right over Fernwood and then crossing over 26 there. It's really broadening out now. So that is, again, some good news here, but still want to be in that safe place. These are some very strong storms coming down and very heavy rain. We're actually hearing it, at least I can hear it right now, hitting the roof at the moment. So again, this is a very strong cell that's moving through. If we could turn back over to the reflectivity, you can see just the activity that we have with some of these. Scott, do you have looks like you have an update for us?
I'll get the reflectivity over there for you just a moment. No updates just yet on as far as that. I was going to show something else, but let's get that reflectivity there to show you that heavy rain.
Very heavy rain, likely 1 to 2, maybe even 3 inches per hour. Not a safe time to be out on the roads at all. You certainly want to be, in for the night. Conditions going to start to really go downhill over the next couple of hours or so as Helene gets closer to our region. That wind's going to continue to ramp up. We're going to see more of these bands of rain and likely more tornado warnings. Very common with these landfalling tropical systems that those outer rain bands, with all the rotation that they have, will produce some of those brief spin-ups. Still dealing with this confirmed tornado warning here. You could see that couplet started to tighten just maybe a little bit. It's still pretty broad at the moment. That's, again, some pretty good news. But again, it's near the Richmond Hill area, so pretty populated area here near Bryan, and even down into Liberty counties as well, included it in this warning, as well as parts of Chatham County. So if, again, it's moving off to the north and west rather quickly, so you certainly want to get into that safe place. You can see, again, there's that heavy rain that's coming down. This whole section of storms here, this is no joke. This is very heavy rain, very strong gusty winds, and we even have that confirmed tornado. It was a waterspout that eventually came overland and is now being classified as a tornado, moving again north and west towards Richmond Hill, I-95 as well, so just be aware of that as we're going through the next couple of moments or so. Scott, do you have anything?
Yeah, actually, did want to just mention that the Candler County tornado warning, the Weather Service has been able to expire that.
Good.
They were seeing the same thing that we were talking about with that cell. Not producing as much rotation as it was moving toward Metter out of Evans County and into Candler County. So definitely some good news there. But I think it's a very likelihood that in portions of that part of the viewing area between Claxton and Metter that there is probably going to be some sort of damage reported, whether it's tornadic or straight line wind. That is a possibility for us. If we could actually switch over, talking to the control room, if we can switch over to the other weather source. There we go. These are the winds I was talking about, starting to pick up for us as Helene starts to get a little bit closer. These are sustained winds as far as the latest readings from the reporting sites. 22 miles per hour at Darien, 23 miles per hour for Richmond Hill, 21 for Savannah. So we are likely seeing wind gusts even higher than that, especially just off of the coast. You notice that slightly darker shading. That's associated with some of the stronger parts of that rain band that are just off of the coast, and that will be coming on shore and will likely pick up some of those winds for us on land. Also out in Vidalia, 18 mile per hour sustained winds, 17 for Metter, possibly associated with that cell that was tornado warns, 13 for Sylvania. So we are definitely seeing things starting to really get cranking here as far as the winds picking up and also with that likelihood of tornadoes developing. I want to go down to the south here, down into McIntosh County, just south there into Glenn County. We do have a cell that is still tornado warned for just here south, but it looks like that will likely be allowed to expire. That does expire in just about 10 minutes as far as that circulation with that. Pretty broad for us just to the west of Darien. So something to be concerned about would be the potential for straight line wind with that as we switch back over to our main radar source for us down into the southern part of the area. There's the cell that we were talking about. So that warning will be expiring soon. Heading back up the road into Long County, Ludowici, we were watching an area of circulation moving toward your area. Looks like that area not quite as tight, but it is over Ludowici right now. U.S. Highway 84 and US 25, that is moving to the northwest at about 35 to 40 miles per hour. So that does take it pretty much right along US 25. So we'll get a timetable on there. So that would take it into Noble around 9:42. So anywhere between there would be within the next 20 minutes or so. I think we will see that warning allowed to expire, but we were just going to be seeing more of this coming in on shore for us across the area as far as more of these areas of circulation coming on shore. And that's something that, Brian, we've been watching for the past couple of hours for that this evening.
Oh, yeah, certainly watching for these rain bands that are rotating as they work their way on shore. That's the reason for all of the tornado warnings that we have across the region. Very typical with these landfalling tropical systems that we do have this sporadic nature of these. And we'll likely continue to see these pop up as we go through the overnight hours as some more rounds of these rain bands move their way through out ahead of the core circulation of Hurricane Helene. If we can zoom back in here for this confirmed tornado warning right near the Richmond Hill area, parts of Bryan and Liberty, even into Chatham County, you can see a little bit more broad. You can see just off to the east of Richmond Hill, though, it looks like a little bit of a tightened up area. Still, again, pretty broad, not as intense as it was earlier when it just came on shore, but certainly something we still have to take note of. Moving off to the north and west pretty quickly. So if we could get a timetable on this, that would be pretty helpful so we can get everybody in the
definitely
path of this some lead time.
Yeah, definitely. And also do want to mention while we're getting that set up, if we can pick up the other source from the control room, getting reports that power is out on the islands. So that does give us some confirmation that this system is producing some strong winds. That would be the Skype computer. If we can get that routed in there with the power outages as soon as we can, that'd be great to show that. There it is, the bullseye right over Wilmington Island, and some power outages on the south side of Savannah as well. So we are seeing that coming in near Memorial Health, near the hospital, seeing some power outages there. So definitely that gives us confirmation that we are at least seeing some strong winds, enough to perhaps bring down some trees and produce some of these power outages. So that gives us definitely confirmation that you need to treat these warnings seriously and get to a safe place, because you're not going to be able to see the wind coming in. You're not going to be able to see the tornado coming in. All of a sudden, trees will start coming down, power lines will start coming down, and in these situations, you don't want to venture out, especially once the power is out, because you might come across a down line, and it could still be energized in these situations, even with the power out. It could just be off of the main line, something of that nature. Not an expert when it comes to running electrical wiring as far as for the power companies, but some of that wiring could still be electrified, energized, and that could be deadly if you were to come across that. So definitely take that seriously. So Viper radar still tracking that potential for a tornado down into Bryan County. Now let's get back to the timetable there. There's that circulation. Looks like it's just right along the Ogeechee River. So we're going to put this at about 35 miles per hour, Bryan, and that takes it into very interior Bryan County, crossing over the Fort Stewart Reservation.
Yeah, it looks like it. And again, this one's moving pretty quickly, and this is a confirmed tornado warning. So we really have to take this one seriously. It was a confirmed waterspout that eventually moved over land, and it's moving towards near the Richmond Hill area, like you said, along the Ogeechee River, getting towards Ellabelle. It looks like around 9:52, Eden, and around 9:52 as well. Bloomingdale, 9:45. And right now, you need to be in that safe place right now in Richmond Hill. That's the most interior level of your home, on the lowest floor, preferably maybe a bathroom or a basement, certainly away from those windows, because if there is a tornado on the ground, that means flying debris, and if flying debris comes through those windows, that can cause damage not only to a structure, but also to you as an individual as well. So we want to get away from those areas at all costs. Also have that warning still ongoing. Just, it looks like off to the north and west of Savannah, it's starting to exit the city, so that's some good news there. This area of rotation, it looks like it's kind of a little bit tight, still a little bit broad though, near Highway 170. So that's some good news there, that we're not seeing, the strongest signatures at the moment. It looks like as they just make their way onshore, that's when they are really at their peak in terms of these ones that are near Chatham, Bryan, and even into Liberty County. So we'll continue to watch these as we go throughout the next couple of moments or so. Scott, are we seeing anything from the National Weather Service?
Yeah, if we can switch over to links to our second weather source. There we are. These are current wind gust readings across the area of Darien in excess of 40 miles per hour. So that is within tropical storm strength as far as wind speeds. The wind gusts certainly wouldn't qualify as it being a necessarily tropical storm, but it does show us that wind field is starting to move into our area, almost pretty much on time for us as far as those strong wind gusts coming in. And it's still going to be a little bit of time before Helene is able to make landfall in the Big Bend region of Florida, a little bit further east than what the Hurricane Center was talking about as far as what was more possible in their mind over the past day or so. There's the live scan, the latest for the radar composite. Can see that circulation, that eye wall, very intense. This is the area where the most intense winds are right now. You can see a lot of lightning with this, over 250 lightning strikes in just the last couple of minutes. So when you start seeing lightning in a hurricane, that's a sign that it's a powerful storm, and it could still become a little bit stronger before making landfall. It is going to begin to get a little bit of that land interaction with that eastern eye wall. Here's the coast right here, just to highlight that a little bit for us. Right here is the coast of Florida. So it's not very far off of the coast. It's only within a few miles in reality. So as far as landfall, landfall, that's when the center crosses. So say it continues to move in a direction like this, so that's only 50 miles off of the coast. So that does mean landfall is within the next hour and a half to 2 hours. And as this continues to inch further north, that means that wind field will continue to inch further to the north. And we're already dealing with the effects with the tornado warnings that confirmed waterspout that moved on shore of Bryan County, likely beginning to broaden out a little bit as far as that circulation. But further to the south, what we're going to be dealing with, these more intense rain bands down to the south of Interstate 10, down to the south of Live Oak, Florida, all of this area that we are watching on the east side of this, this is what is going to be moving through our area over the next several hours as we head into 11, 12 o'clock, 1, 2, even 3 o'clock in the morning. We are still going to be feeling the impacts from this system, so it's going to take a little bit of time. Yeah, it's moving at a pretty good clip, over 20 miles per hour to the north-northeast, but it's such a large storm that wind field is in excess of 400 miles across from the west side of the storm to the east side of the storm, so that's a lot of real estate. So even just a small wobble in that path doesn't really change our forecast impacts very much. One thing that we have been seeing, a trend further to the east, and we've been talking about that for the past few days, maybe a slight easterly track more, compared to what the Hurricane Center was saying, and I think that's what's going to be coming to fruition, so that does make those stronger winds more likely for us, and there are going to be some areas in our community, in our neighborhood, in our viewing area, that will have heavy damage from this storm as it is moving through. For some of us, when you wake up tomorrow morning, the light of day, your neighborhood may be looking very different from what it looked like today before the sun went down. So that's definitely a situation for us that we're going to be watching. And also further confirmation with what we have been dealing with, Brian. We just got word that there are power outages in downtown Savannah showing up on the outage map from Georgia Power. There it is in the Forsyth Park area in the historic district near the cathedral. We are looking at those power outages, and that's right in the area where we were watching that circulation, that tornado warning situation moving right over town. Going to go over to the radar product again for our relative velocity. It looks like that has largely exited the area. The tornado risk has ended for downtown Savannah, yes, but it's possible that it has, outside of the view that we have and some of our camera views out here, power outages associated with that, and it's likely that we do have some trees down, certainly power lines down in this situation. Ryan.
Yeah, thank you, Scott. And I just got word through the chat, the National Weather Service in Charleston, they say that the current threat for the downtown Savannah area is over. The tornado warning was trimmed to bring the downtown area out of that warning. It looks like that will continue to be the case as that line of storms moves its way out of the area. So that's some good news for us here in the downtown Savannah area. However, we still are dealing with this. This is the one they're actually still continuing this for the time being. This was just moments ago that they put this out. But this one here, this confirmed tornado warning in parts of Chatham, Liberty, and even into Bryan County, still going to be faced with this. Very heavy rain ongoing. If we could turn over to the velocity signature, we can get a look and see how the status is of that rotation. Again, it was a waterspout, a confirmed waterspout that moved its way onshore, and it's still showing some signs of rotation there. It looks like it's just crossing over I-95, and again, moving off to the north and west, pretty much along the Ogeechee River, so it will continue to move in that direction. That very strong sail likely moving towards the Ellabelle region or the Blythton area as well. Meldrum, make sure you're taking those precautions. You're not in that warning just yet, but if they do choose to extend it and elongate it, you could be next as this storm is moving pretty quickly, around 35 to even 40 miles per hour across the region. So again, if we can maybe just get a timetable right here, there's that area of rotation. Looks the next scan maybe a little bit tighter of a circulation, so could be a sign that it is strengthening. So again, we do want to take this one seriously. Very oftentimes with that, what happens with these rain bands moving through, we'll get these brief spin-ups, they'll start to dissipate, and then they could re-intensify. And it looks like we could be seeing that here. We'll have to see the next couple of scans. But again, getting into Meldrum at around 9:43, Eden 9:46, Ellabelle 9:47, Doswell 9:50, Marlow at around 9:55, and Olean, hopefully I'm saying that correctly. If I'm not, I apologize. 9:56. So again, it will be moving off quickly to the north and west. Going to take this very seriously, get into that lowest level of your home in the most interior room of your home. This complex of storms here, even if there's not a tornado on the ground, take it seriously. Very heavy rainfall, currently falling. It looks like it's just passing through I-95, but very strong winds as well. We've seen all those power outages. That is an indication that the winds are strengthening across the region. As that core of Helene gets closer, this is only going to continue. The winds are going to continue to ramp up as we head into the overnight hours, and that chance for those nocturnal tornadoes are no joke across the region. These are the ones that are very difficult to spot. You really can't see them. We're going to have to really pay close attention here on the radar to get any indication of the rotation or even maybe some damage being lofted up. If we could turn over to the correlation coefficients, we can maybe see if we can detect maybe some debris in the air. It doesn't really look like it, so that's some good news there. Essentially what this product is looking at is particles in the atmosphere that are similar in shape. So where you see uniform colors, all these reds here, that's indicating that rainfall. Where we start to see maybe some discoloration within areas of rain, that's where we could potentially be dealing with some debris being lofted up. But I don't see that here, so that's some good news. However, we still want to take this very seriously. We did see that area of rotation. It looks like right along the Ogeechee River, parts of Chatham,
Brian,
even into Bryan County.
real quickly, we do have a new tornado warning that was issued for Effingham County, so that is
Right
a
here.
continuation
Yes.
of the cell that was moving through Chatham County, moving up through the Port Wentworth area, Garden City, of course, crossing over downtown. This is moving quickly again to the northwest, quickly, just like the other cells have been. Right around 35 to 40 miles per hour, 40 miles per hour, so that will take it very quickly. And even outside of these tornado-warned cells, we have been dealing with some stronger winds setting up. Just getting word that also Brooklet the entire city of Brooklet is without power right now. We're getting that right now in the Georgia Power outage map. So these feeder bands are already packing a punch across the region. So definitely stay indoors, stay away from windows and doors, because even without the tornado warnings, the winds are starting to pick up, and 40 and 50 mile per hour wind gusts outside of a tornado are still strong enough to cause some damage with trees down and also structures that aren't very well built. The structures that aren't very sturdy would be dealing with that strong wind, with them not being able to withstand that. So now with the particulars with the tornado warning into Effingham County, we do have the two areas of circulation there. Still the one that's on the border of Chatham County and into Jasper County. We have this area of circulation here, but as far as the new tornado warning, this warning is until 10 o'clock for Effingham County. So with this moving to the northwest at 40 miles per hour, which is pretty fast, this is just to the east of Springfield, going right along, almost paralleling Georgia Route 21. Let me get the right tool on there. So that does move it very quickly through the county outside of the area. Let's just put this on at 45 miles per hour or so as far as that timetable. So it would be moving through places like Bethel by 9:43, Clio 9:44, Lorenzo 9:45, Ardmore 9:52, Oakey at 9:52. So if you are in Effingham County along Highway 21 and points to the east, especially along 21 and points to the east, you need to get to your safe place right now. Get away from windows and doors. Stay there, because this is a pretty pronounced circulation that we are dealing with right now on Viper radar with this cell. I wanted to just do a little sample here, a little sampling to see what kind of wind speeds we have here. This is a loft, 48 miles per hour up against basically 0 miles per hour. That is something that you do need to watch out for. There is going to be some circulation there, and something that we need to do as far as assuming that this is producing a tornado on the ground. So definitely get to that safe place immediately. So again, this is a new tornado warning for Effingham County in areas just to the east of Springfield and points to the northwest, including Clio, Bethel, Lorenzo, Ardmore, and Oakey. You definitely want to get to that safe place right now if you are in any of those towns along Georgia Route 21 and points to the east. You need to get to that safe place right now, because this circulation is right over Stillwell for us, moving toward perhaps Berryville, just to the east of Springfield, Georgia. So definitely get to that safe place right now. This warning is in place until 10 o'clock this evening. Brian.
Yes, and we are again going to continue to track this one. This one, and in particular, you can see a pretty well defined circulation here near Stillwell. Again, moving off to the north and west, and as well as back to the south and east near Prizeburg Landing here, near Hardyville. It crossed over I-95, so this area of a little bit broader rotation. However, you could see with this area, if we could take a sample of maybe the wind speeds here, 48 miles per hour in this zone. This could be potentially, if there's no tornado on the ground, still damaging. Straight line winds could cause some problems to some of the trees out there at the moment as this moves its way through. Very heavy rain falling, so likely with that ground being saturated could be enough to take down some trees across the region as these move their way through rather quickly. So certainly something to take note of. If we can zoom on out and maybe put on the reflectivity, we can see just kind of all the cells that we're really dealing with across the region. As we are dealing with a ton of them, it's really starting to ramp up here. Yeah, if we could zoom that out, perfect. We can see this entire complex has been particularly very strong over the last hour or so. Also seeing some activity off near Tatnall County as well, near Glenville. These ones are not tornado warned. However, still keep an eye on. We're going to still keep an eye on these very heavy rain. Likely the winds picking up with some of these cells, Ludowici in that area as well. We're still keeping an eye on this cluster of storms here. This was the one that eventually came on shore with that confirmed water spout, and as it continues to move off to the north and west, likely producing some very heavy rain, some very strong winds as well, as it looks like it moves into the I-16 area. So if you're out on the roads, if you happen to be or know anybody who's out there, make sure they're being very careful. Make sure if you really don't have to be out, it is not a time to do so. It's a good time to hunker down for really the rest of the night, as conditions will be really deteriorating as that core of Helene gets closer to the region. We'll go back here near Rincon, and we can take an eye on this area here. We saw two distinct areas of rotation not too long ago, which is why that tornado warning was issued in parts of Effingham County. Look at this really strong rotation here, pretty tight couplet that we're seeing, some pretty strong winds likely occurring, seeing with that rotation right near Berryville. Looks like Berryville Road here. It's right near that location. Make sure you're getting into that safe place right now. This storm really moving off to the north and west quite quickly. It looks like it's just off the north and east of Old Dixie Highway, south at the moment. Maybe if you can zoom out just a little bit, you can get maybe a little bit of a idea. Yeah, right to the south of Silo. It's going to be moving off to the north and west. Maybe if you bring it out just a little bit more. Yeah, so Oakey, Kildare, you're still included in this warning. It looks like if we just project it a little off to this way, it looks like maybe Kildare, maybe just getting off to the south, but still want to take this pretty seriously. Stokes Bluff Landing, looks like you are just outside of this zone. But if you're near Oakey, this cell right here, headed in your direction, this area of rotation, looks like it's maybe a little bit broad right now, but still some pretty impressive indications that there's some pretty strong wind ongoing here. And if we can just turn it over, maybe if we could look at the debris detector, we could maybe see if there's any indication. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. That is good news. Certainly some very good news here. This is where our area of rotation is. We're not seeing any indications that there's debris being lofted up into the air. So that's some good news, Scott.
Yeah, that is definitely good news, but we do have further confirmation that some of these cells are producing a little bit of damage of some magnitude, because we do have reports of more power outages coming in for Chatham County. In the Isle of Hope area, there are numerous customers without power. In the Georgia Power outage map information, it looks like in this area 82 customers, so that would be potentially 82 households without power, and that's in addition to what we are seeing across Chatham County, places into the islands, especially Wilmington, Whitmarsh Island, dealing with some of those outages. Over 1,600 are reported right now. We also do have numerous outages in the downtown area. In the historic district, you can see the swath from that, heading from, say, in the Broughton Street area down towards Forsyth Park and Gwinnett Street. Over 1,500 power outages reported in that area, and it's going to take some time for some of this power to get turned back on, because as we get more of these storms coming in, knocking trees down, knocking power lines down, it's going to take crews a while to get out there to get some of that repaired. And for some of us, once the power is out, it might be out for the duration of this event until we get to into the day tomorrow. The crews will be out there assessing the situation, but especially as we head into the overnight hours, we are going to be getting more of the strong wind field moving in. Real quickly, if we can switch over to our Links 2 computer, we do have an update on Hurricane Helene. It is more powerful than the earlier update. We will be getting another update a little bit, but this might be the last one before it really gets interaction with land before making landfall in the next couple of hours. Sustained wind of 140 miles per hour in the core. That's in the eye wall. Wind gusts as high as 155 miles per hour. This storm has strengthened through the evening, so that does mean that this storm is going to be stronger as it does move through Georgia. That center is now forecast to be further east than what was originally projected earlier in the day by the National Hurricane Center, taking pretty much I-75 from Valdosta up to Atlanta as a hurricane. It is possible for Atlanta itself to have hurricane force winds tonight, so that will cause major disruptions for the Atlanta metro. And of course, because this is such a large storm, and since it's going to be a little bit stronger, as we've been talking about over the past couple of days for us, we are going to be feeling more of those impacts here for us locally in the coastal Empire Low Country. And it's a pretty good likelihood that some of our inland counties, especially Jeff Davis County, will be dealing with sustained wind of hurricane strength, a nexus of 74 miles per hour. And of course, that means wind gusts could be even higher than that. It's not out of the question for a few spots to have wind gusts in excess of 80 miles per hour. And for many other locations, especially more toward the coast, we will have sustained wind in the tropical storm force range, which will be greater than 39 miles per hour, up to 73 miles per hour. But we could have those wind gusts in that high end, perhaps even approaching hurricane strength for us at the coast, as far as what we are dealing with the wind field coming on shore. So we will be getting another update in the next little while as far as the system coming in as we head into the overnight hours. I want to check over on our Savannah camera, or actually a Georgia DOT camera at 21 at Gulfstream. We can see that heavy rain coming down. Traffic is still able to move in that area. It looks like there is still power in that area, but that is one of those areas where one of these tornado-warned cells move through. So that's a good sign in that area, at least. Perhaps any damage, anything associated with the strong winds moving through there might be relatively unscathed, but that warning for Chatham County, of course, has been able to expire. Where our concentration now is into Effingham County, where we do have a tornado warning until 10 o'clock. I want to give you an update. That was that storm that we were really talking about as far as that tighter rotation, I should say, moving through the central part of the county. It looks like it's a little broader for us right now. That's good news as far as dealing with a tornadic situation. However, we still do have some of those winds associated with still that circulation moving through. So it's still possible for wind gusts to be in excess of 40 and 50 miles per hour with this rain band as it is moving through the area. So we do have that heavier rain back down to the southeast and south from that cell. Clio and southward toward Birds and Rincon could still have some pretty strong wind gusts associated with that. I want to zoom this out and just follow back up with what we were dealing with into Bryan County and into Chatham County. That warning has been able to expire. That cell is now moving into extreme northern Bryan County and into extreme southwestern Effingham County, but it is no longer tornadic, but still would have that potential for us to be dealing with some of those stronger winds. And the other warnings that we were watching further to the south down into Long County has been able to expire. We do have still some rain on the radar there. That cell would still have that potential to produce some stronger winds. So our main thing that we are watching right now is over Effingham County with that cell that really is starting to broaden out, but still does have that potential to be producing some of those stronger winds as it is moving into the area. So you definitely need to take this seriously as the winds begin to pick up across the area. And as far as what we were dealing with, Brian, we do have more of these feeder bands coming in off of the coast.
Yeah, I just want to turn everybody's attention right now off of Tybee and near Wilmington Island at the moment, just offshore. It looks like we're getting another one of these cells as of right now, not tornado warned, but it is something worth worth looking at. If we look over, yeah, there's that velocity signature. Looks a little bit broad right now. However, just be aware of this. We're going to continue to see this onshore flow of some of these bands continue as we go throughout really the overnight period as Helene gets a little bit closer. It's close to that landfall and now a Category 4 storm with winds of 140 miles per hour. This is a very dangerous storm system moving through the Big Bend area of Florida, and a lot of that wind, a lot of that rain are going to be moving and impacting parts of our region. I'll give it not as strong of a storm, but certainly still packing a punch here. You can see there's that eye wall getting very close to the Big Bend area of Florida. If we zoom on in here, you can see, look at all that lightning in the eye wall. That is a sign of a very, very strong hurricane. There's the eye, the center of the circulation. That eye wall is going to start to come on shore here, moving towards Perry. Just due south, it looks like, of Tallahassee. Very, very dangerous situation as this storm continues to move off to the north and northeast, moving pretty quickly. And so since it's moving pretty quickly, it's not really going to lose a lot of its strength over land. It's still expected to be a hurricane as it moves its way into Georgia. So this is something we have to take into account. Our impacts locally are going to be stronger with a stronger landfalling tropical system. But again, there's that Big Bend area of Florida. There's the eye wall, that tight ring around the eye. This is the most intense part of the storm, those tallest thunderstorms. You got that lightning there indicating that this is a very, very strong system, Scott.
Yeah, Brian, and just looking at the radar imagery, we were talking about how this is a strong Category 4 system. One thing that you notice in the last couple of scans with this radar of the eye wall here, we're going to back this up a little bit for us. Notice how in this frame, this is 9:38, so this is just a little while ago, so going to back this up even more. Notice how the eye is a little bit more symmetrical, and now that it is approaching land, this is a 30-minute time lapse overall, so go from start, here's the start at 9:18, and compared to now, notice how it's starting to get a little bit ragged. As sometimes these storms get closer to land, they do everything they can to try to stay strong, and at this point, we could actually still see this intensify a little bit more before making its way onto land. That eye wall is starting to contract a little bit to try to maintain its strength, feeding off the water as much as possible, but we are already seeing some of the wind moving into our area still several hundred miles away, 300 miles away. I want to take a look at on Tybee Island. This is a 511 camera at Georgia 26 and Jones, so that's actually Highway 80 also. You can see the wind starting to whip there, certainly picking up as far as those wind speeds, gusting a little bit there. You can see the rain whipping in the wind. So definitely those with that situation being out there on Tybee Island, we will see more of this across the area over the coming hours. You can also see that camera view bouncing around quite a bit with that wind coming in on shore for us. So definitely take this seriously. So even outside of tornado warnings, this is a situation where we are going to be dealing with a widespread part of the area, which is basically the entire area, will be dealing with these tropical storm wind and those tropical storm wind gusts, even with that center of circulation from Helene well down to our south. So that center of circulation from there to Savannah is still about 250 miles away. So that just shows how wide that wind field is. And on our second weather source, we can also see the wind gusts picking up for Savannah. The last reading, 32 miles per hour. Wind gusts in Darien, 39 miles per hour, so that is certainly within tropical storm force range. We'd certainly look at sustained wind as far as rating tropical systems, but when you start getting wind gusts that are within that range, that definitely gives you a good idea, indication that we are going to begin to really see weather conditions deteriorate across the region. So if you're know anyone that's on their way home or anything like that, they need to get home immediately and stay off the roads tonight. There's really no reason to go out anywhere tonight because the conditions just will not support it. We are going to be talking about sustained wind for some of us, approaching 70 and 74 miles per hour across much of the area. So I do want to mention that we still do have an active tornado warning for us. And as far as what we are dealing with, is the main one right now, still over Effingham County for us, near Oakley. That's where we do have that tornado warning. That's the far end of that. But we also have another update coming up, Jasper County into Chatham County. Brian, are we seeing anything on the radar with that circulation.
like,
That's what you
yeah.
were talking about just before.
There we go. That we were just talking about this not too long ago. This area that is working its way on shore could be a water spout. It is. This one's not confirmed, but if you are, on Tybee Island or maybe off to the south, and it looks like, oh, there we go. There's that tag, that confirmed tornado warning now that we're seeing. Likely a water spout that's going to begin to move on shore. If you're along Tybee Island, we just saw that live shot not too long ago. Very dangerous conditions out there at the moment. Make sure you're getting into that most interior room on the lowest level of your home. This one just in the wake of that line that came through not too long ago. So Savannah, parts of the downtown area are included in this, as well as Wilmington Island and even Gray's subdivision, even Defusky Landing, even near Cook Landing as well, getting in on the action here. This area of rotation is going to be moving off to the north and west rather quickly. This warning goes until 10:15, Scott.
Yeah, and this one, the very fast forward movement now,
Yes.
50 miles per hour. So this will quickly take it into potentially the downtown area. So this warning obviously does include downtown into Wilmington Island, into Fort Pulaski, Midtown Savannah, Hunter Army Airfield, the Live Oak section. So let's get a timetable on this. And if you are in that path, this is just off of the coast. But as far as what we are dealing with, the downtown Savannah on the fringe of what we'd be expected. So mostly a Jasper County type of situation, moving through the islands though. Moving into Tybee Island perhaps within the next couple of minutes, within the next 4 minutes is what we are looking at here. But if you are out on Wilmington Island, Whitmarsh Island, Isle of Armstrong, you need to get to that safe place immediately and stay there, because this is a strong rotation, a strong circulation with this. It is a confirmed situation. So that means it is more than just radar indicated. We need to assume that this is producing circulation on the ground, so producing a tornado with this. So get to that safe place immediately. Again, we say it all the time, but sometimes until you are in the situation, until you get that alert, you might not realize what to do, brushing it off. And that's why we repeat things so often. Get to that lowest level of your home, away from windows and doors. Cover yourself with blankets. That will keep you safe from the potential of any flying debris with this circulation as it is coming on shore. So this does include a very populated area. I know some viewers in the islands are dealing with a power outage situation right now. That makes this even more important to get to those safer locations, because it's dark out there now. Many people are probably watching us through our live stream. We are live streaming this on our website and through our other streaming channels, our website, onto Facebook, and all those other sources. So there are viewers who are still watching us, even though they're in an area without power out there on the islands, at least a large chunk of the islands, but there are also large area of the islands that still do have power. So this could be a situation where more of you will be without power within the next couple minutes as this circulation comes on shore very quickly, crossing over Little Tybee Island. Let's get another timetable on that, from that circulation up to the northwest, up to around 50 miles per hour. So again, that does take it right through Whitmarsh Island within the next 10 to 15 minutes. So that's not much lead time for this to potentially be producing wind speeds in excess of 60 or 70 miles per hour